I'm Nate. Today let's look at the Acolyte Season 1, Episode 1, Lost and Found. In this episode, a Jedi is murdered by an unknown threat, while a former Jedi apprentice is suspected of carrying out the crime. Written by Leslie Headland, Episode 1 was released on June 4th, 2024 on Disney+. The episode starts on the planet Ueda, where Jedi Master Indara, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, is forced into a duel by a woman who wields the Force. The fight is somewhat well choreographed, but its stiffly acted, Matrix-style martial arts action comes across like a bad Steven Seagal movie. I'm sure there is a reason why the assailant demands Indara to attack her, but it's an odd way to start an opening fight scene. It lacks a reason for us to get emotionally invested in the fight and the plot. It would have been much better had the attacker been completely unhinged and Jedi Master Indara's skills been top-notch to the point that it appeared she was fighting off a pesky mosquito, and then have the attacker up the game and show off some serious fighting skills. When Indara dies after being stabbed by a steel dagger, her death does not invoke the emotion that the writers probably were going for. Instead, questions arise as to how a short dagger could kill a Jedi so quickly, while we've seen characters like Sabine Wren get run through by a lightsaber and live to fight another day. In the lead up to the Acolyte's release, there was a lot of negative discussion about the series, and it didn't fail to deliver on this end. The dialogue is poorly written and the plot is clunky. Star Wars is known for its bad dialogue, but it's not poorly written. Much of the original trilogy is highly quotable, yet utterly ridiculous. A case in point is Princess Leia's line to Tarkin when she meets him. "I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board," is an epic line well delivered. But no one talks like that. A good portion of the dialogue in The Acolyte is procedural, or what can be best described as unnecessary. A good example of this is Yord's questioning of Osha when he arrives to arrest her. He tells her to sit down, and she does. This tells us nothing about Osha except that she is passive. Then Yord gives her a monologue of her life leading up to this moment. In any dialogue class, students will learn that the key to writing good dialogue is to cut out useless interactions. If the main character opens his front door and finds two police officers standing there, a bad writer has them exchange niceties like hello, or how are you, or even how can I help you. Good dialogue gets right to the point. The main character might open the door and see the officers and say something like, "I was late to work. It was just a scratch. The car was parked." Then the officer might say something like, "Do you know where your daughter was last night?" It tells us that the main character is selfish and doesn't pay attention to his daughter. In the majority of the conversations in this show, the dialogue is not telling us anything beyond the words. It's flat and useless. This brings us to the plot issues. I don't care about the main character or who she is, and there are way too many minor questions about the plot that have no chance of being explained in future episodes. For example, why does Osha say that the worst thing she's ever gone through was leaving the Jedi Order when just moments before she was having PTSD over seeing flames and hearing voices from her childhood? Also, why is Yord steam cleaning his Jedi robe in the common space of the ship just before a mission? And why does Yord put Osha on a prisoner ship instead of take her back himself? And then at the end, we get a glimpse of the big baddie on the beach, and the voiceover monologue is straight out of a fan fiction film. It's campy and weird. And not weird because of the voice. It's weird because it makes no sense. And we find out that May, the evil twin sister and attacker from the opening scene, is supposed to kill without a weapon, but none of what she did earlier was in line with that. The questions keep adding up, and it seems more like bad writing and continuity issues than a mystery that the audience is supposed to pay attention to. Overall, I was not expecting excellence with the series. I was just hoping for something that made sense, but that didn't seem to come true. I wish there would just be a big fight scene where everybody dies so we can get this thing over with and move on. Let me know what you all think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content and the deeper discussion into the themes found in Star Wars, please hit the like button and subscribe to keep me in your feed.